We begin our look at sports out at Rose Hill. The Fordham men's basketball team extended its winning streak into double figures, moving past Central Connecticut State 90-77 inside the Rose Hill gym for its 10th straight victory. Now, check this out. The Rams are in the midst of their first 10-game winning streak in more than 3 decades. The last Fordham team to win 10 straight did so as part of a 14-game streak in January and February of 1991. That team went on to win 25 games and a Patriot League title, perhaps a good omen for this year's Rams. The victory improves the Rams to 11-1 overall this season, including an unblemished 10-0 mark at home. Protect that home court, as they say. Fordham has won 11 of its first 12 games for the first time since the historic 70-71 squad started the year 12-0. Graduate students Khalid Moore and Darius Quisenberry anchored the Rams as Moore tallied a career-high 25 points, and Quisenberry poured in 18. We go inside the locker room for more.
So coach always talks about it. You play how you practice. So try to practice, shoot the ball well, get in the gym, get a lot of shots up. You see it's kind of coming to fruition on the court. We always try to play inside out first, try to pound it into our bigs. We got really strong, hard bigs that play tough in the paint. Khalid's one of them. He can play in the paint and stuff like that. Abdu, Rostic. So we have really good bigs. So we try to get into them first, and if they go to double, play inside out, kick it out, and shoot open shots.
Who would have thunk it? The Rams are the talk of the early college hoop season here locally, especially in the Bronx. Meantime, the Amazons are the talk of the baseball hot stove. The New York Mets have had quite the spending spree in MLB free agency, brushing aside any qualms about the luxury taxes. They aim to build a true World Series contender in Queens after securing a 5-year deal for Japanese sensation Kodai Senga. Some have wondered whether the Mets would be in the market for a slugger to add to this lineup. The latest signing comes on the heels of the Mets replacing Jacob deGrom with another ace and American League Cy Young winner Justin Verlander. The Mets are not planning to make a deep dive into the power market this offseason, according to reports. Buck Showalter seems to be on the same page, indicating that power isn't the end-all, be-all for the Mets. Here's more.
We score enough runs to win, and the better pitchers are, sometimes the less home runs that are given up. So, no, I don't stay up at night about, oh gosh, we got to have X number of power, and let's add X number of strikeouts. And to beat the really good pitchers, you have to be able to do some things other than just hit home runs. So, no, I don't think that's a prerequisite. I know if you're looking at something where we didn't rank highly compared to other clubs in baseball. At the end of the day, we did win 101 games, so offensively, it must have been doing something right.
Mets recently re-signed Brandon Nimmo to an 8-year, $162 million extension, in addition to their deals for Edwin Diaz and Verlander, as well as the previously mentioned Senga. The Mets have not shied away from spending big money in free agency. Despite that, they don't have too much true power at the plate outside of Pete Alonso, yet it doesn't seem as if Showalter is too concerned about that. Mets appear slightly better on paper as of right now, although a little older in their starting rotation. A lot of 35 and above arms out in Flushing. We shall see. The Bronx Bombers haven't made the same splashes this offseason, at least not as of yet, aside from re-signing American League Most Valuable Player Aaron Judge, of course. Judge is staying with the Yankees on a $360 million 9-year contract and will earn $40 million per year, the highest average annual payout for a position player. The contract trails only Mike Trout's $426.5 million deal with the LA Angels and Mookie Betts' $365 million pact with the Los Angeles Dodgers for the biggest in baseball history. The last time the Yanks made a big free agent deal for a player coming from another team is the focus of our Turn Back the Clock this morning. You might remember this one. It came right before the pandemic. That's when the Yankees got their ace. Let's turn back the clock. From an 11-year-old sporting a sign in the 2001 World Series to finally realizing his dreams of wearing the pinstripes, Gerrit Cole's free agent signing with the Yankees is the stuff of legend in the making.
just tremendously excited, and it's the best organization, in my opinion, in the league. There's a process here that Brian spoke to about trying to bring the best people at each individual position to surround everybody with the best opportunity to succeed. I think they've demonstrated that, certainly through Brian's tenure over the last 2 decades. So it instills a lot of confidence as a player when you hear those things, and it doesn't hurt to play for your favorite team.
Obviously, as the manager, when I hear we're going to be in play for arguably the game's best pitcher, that's exciting. I feel like we're a team with championship intangibles. We haven't pushed through yet, but we've clearly been knocking on the door for now a few years, and I just feel like Gerrit will be another guy that comes here and fits in.
You know, it's an exciting time for us. We try to with every transaction, whether it's big or small, we always have high hopes and expectations and excitement surrounding the decisions behind them, and looking forward to them leading to real positive things on the field in days and years to come. So this is another chapter of that, obviously a much bigger chapter.
I came 8 outs away from getting a ring. I felt like I could see the light underneath the door, and then it was slammed shut in our face, or it was probably never really opened, actually. I'm as hungry as ever to finish that journey, finish that challenge, and in my opinion, there would be no better place to do it than New York.
Another good one, courtesy of the BronxNet boys. I sure bet the New York Football Giants wish they could turn back the clock on their loss to the nearly perfect Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles arrived at MetLife Stadium with an 11-1 record, a divisional rival in appropriate NFC East weather. The Giants failed to seize this opportunity, folks. Final score 48-22. Bad guys with the win. Eagles moving to 12-1 overall and bound for the postseason. The Giants putting themselves in a tight spot when it comes to a potential postseason berth. We go back inside the locker room for more.
One, I know the talent, and I know the men that we have in our locker room, and I know the hard work that they put in and prep that we put in, and we're going through a rough patch right now. We're not playing well. That's it. It's on us. We got to play better. But we've showed what we can do. We played against some really good teams early in the season, and we beat some really good teams. And that's the reason why we're in this position to be able to put ourselves in the tournament, put ourselves in where everyone's goal is, and to be in the playoffs and play meaningful games in December. And if we weren't talented and we weren't a good team, we wouldn't be in this situation, and we are. So now we got to double down, continue to believe in each other. And it starts with all of us. It starts with myself, starts with the leaders, and get ready to come out this week and get ready for a big game.
When it comes to big games, we have one coming up right here in the BX. The Minnesota Gophers football team is heading to New York City right before the new year for the Pinstripe Bowl. It will be the Gophers and Syracuse. There will be a familiar face in the suites at Yankee Stadium when Syracuse football squares off against Minnesota in the bowl game. Minnesota Athletic Director Mark Coyle served in the same position at Syracuse immediately prior to his move to the Big Ten school in 2016. We caught up with him. Check this out.
Obviously, it's a tremendous honor to represent the Big Ten Conference and not only the University of Minnesota, but the state of Minnesota. When you think of sports icons, you think of Yankee Stadium, and the first thing that comes to mind is first class. And I know myself, our president Gable, and PJ and our student athletes are incredibly humbled to have the opportunity to play a great team in Syracuse. And we look forward to a great matchup on December 29th. But we're very humbled and excited to, again, represent the Big Ten, the University of Minnesota and the state of Minnesota in such a prestigious building. There's no doubt our fans are excited. We have sold out our bowl allotment. When Mark and I were talking leading up to the bowl game, we have sold out our bowl allotment in the last 2 bowl games we played in. We have a great alumni base along the East Coast, as Mark talked about, and our fans are excited. I give PJ a lot of credit. He is re-energized our fan base over the past several years. He's taken us to multiple bowl games. Our kids are doing the right thing on the field. More importantly, they're doing the right thing off the field. And again, there's a lot of excitement, and we expect a lot of Gophers to be out in New York to celebrate this great opportunity.
That's always a great game at Yankee Stadium. Never short on storylines either. We'll cap this roundup with another terrific headline before taking it home here in the C-List. 14 months ago, USC quarterback Caleb Williams was a freshman backup at Oklahoma, entering the Red River rivalry game against Texas, hoping to provide a spark. Now the 20-year-old is a Heisman Trophy winner, a USC Heisman winner. That announcement, as always, came right here in New York. Williams, much like he did on the field this year, left no doubt that the Heisman was his, securing the award given to the most outstanding player in college football. In a decisive victory, he receives 544 first-place votes. His 2,031 points easily beat out 3 other notables for the award. Congrats to him. To the C-list for the news that we've long waited for here in New York. We've long waited to hear this news, not only here in New York, but around the country. Finally back on American soil after nearly 10 months of imprisonment in Russia, WNBA star Brittney Girner is spending time at a medical facility in Texas before she returns to her regular life. The basketball star was released as part of a prisoner exchange between the U.S. and Russia. Her release through the prisoner exchange took months to negotiate and marked an end to months in confinement after the basketball star was arrested on drug charges at a Russian airport in February and then sentenced to 9 years in prison. The Texas facility Girner is at right now would stand in stark contrast to the Russian one she was held in before her release. During her time there, Girner had to cut her now famous dreadlocks to make life easier during the Russian winter. WNBA commissioner says Girner needs time and space as she begins her recovery. Here's the latest.
Grateful to the administration, the State Department. You know, we've known negotiations were intensifying and a solution was in sight. And I was personally emotional at today's events because you never know until the end. These are geopolitically complex times and the moment. And so I'm overjoyed that BG will be reunited with her parents, her mom and dad. As a mom myself, I can't imagine the anguish they have been going through. And obviously you saw Sherelle at the White House this morning as events unfolded. So and let's not forget BG's fellow WNBA players, too. They advocated every day for her and the whole women's basketball ecosystem. I also want to thank you, the media, for keeping BG at the top of your coverage because that was helpful. And to the WNBA fans as well, who continued to advocate for BG and getting her home. So really grateful today. It's a great day. And, you know, we look forward to BG having her time and space and recovering from this whole ordeal, awful ordeal.
Home for the holidays. Nice way for us to cap the C-list right here. Wishing Brittney a full recovery. That's your look at sports. I'm Bobby C.